Welcome back to episode number 55 of the SaaS landing page review show. On today's episode, we are reviewing Cropolis. Now, first of all, I hope I've said that right. But if if you're running a farm right now, if you're watching this and you're in that, the farming industry, and you're, part of your farm business is selling food, locally, then I'd really, really recommend that you go and check these guys out. Okay, they've essentially created a software that allows you, as a farmer, where you're, selling food in your business, to just essentially boost that revenue stream, and actually connect yourselves with people that that are looking to buy that food. Okay, so really, really great software, if you're in that industry. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into this and start going through the headline. So first of all, reading the headline, grow your online local food sales. Okay, so something that I would say about this headline is it's a bit too generic. Okay, and I always say this to founders: don't speak about the desire. Right, a big mistake that a lot of founders make is they want to tell you about all the benefits of the software, and they really speak to the desire, not the pain and the problem. Okay, now pain and just problems and just generally the kind of pain emotion is a much bigger emotion that you can tap into. Okay, as a SaaS founder, especially any business, it's a much bigger emotional driver. Okay, compared to desire and grow your online local food. People don't get as motivated, okay, to take action with desire compared to pain. Okay, so when you're crafting headlines, really when you're writing any form of copy, okay, you really want to press on the pain. Okay, it's kind of this analogy that I use that you want to press on the pain, you want to press on the problem. Okay, you don't want to talk about some desire, and you want to constantly press on the problem. When especially in your headline, okay, where it's the first thing people read. So an example of a headline that you could use in this, in this scenario, could be something along the lines of running a local farm food business, ? Are you struggling to get food in the hands of your potential customers? Okay. Now, again, I've got to really stress this. Every single business that I'm reviewing, every single SaaS site that I'm reviewing, I don't know, the ins and outs of the problems that you guys are solving with your software. You will know that a lot better than I do. The idea with this show is to kind of just show you frameworks and structures and kind of spot certain things out that I can kind of touch on. Okay. But, again, I don't know the ins and outs of, what you're trying to solve, the problems that your software solves. I'm kind of just guessing by looking at your website. Okay. But to kind of explain, why I structure headlines like this and why it's so important that you kind of follow a very similar structure is because, like I said, people are not motivated by desire. Okay, people are much more motivated by solving a pain and problem. Okay, one of the best examples of this is, let's say you give someone a Ferrari, right? Really random example, but you let's say a salesperson, right? You say, if you can constantly hit, 10 grand a month in sales, you can keep this Ferrari, right? But if you said to a salesperson, okay, if you can hit 10 grand a month, I will give you this Ferrari, right? That salesperson is going to do everything in their power to constantly hit 10 grand a month, because they know that if they don't hit 10 grand a month, okay, they're going to lose that Ferrari, right? So pain just generally, okay, I know it's a really random example, but pain is a much bigger emotional driver compared to, speaking to desires and speaking to these things that, are not as kind of action taking. Okay. So when you're, and I've said it several times now, but when you're crafting headlines, you really want to press on the problem. Okay. It's a much bigger, motivating force, which is why understanding your customers' problems and understanding your users' problems to the T is so important. Okay, it's so important that founders don't just skip past this and kind of assume the problem, but really kind of get to the bottom of why is it that someone would want to use our software? What problems are we really solving? Like, what pains are we really getting rid of? Okay, now to kind of run through the structure of this, first of all, what we're doing is we're calling out our end user, so i.e. in this case someone who is selling food with their farm business, and then we're then following it up by introducing the problem in a question form. Okay, so are you struggling to get the food, that you're selling in the hands of your potential customers, okay, which is the problem that that person is experiencing, okay? And again, the reason why we structure the headline like this is because, first of all, what we're doing is we're getting the attention of the end user, okay, or the potential end user, and then we're then pressing on the problem, okay? We're asking them about their problem. And if they are actually experiencing that problem, they're going to straight away be like, yes, that's the problem that is the problem that I'm experiencing, okay? A problem that so many founders make is they just assume. They either assume problems, or they kind of just sell the commodity. I've noticed that in the subheadline here, kind of under, you've got software for farms that sell direct. What you've got to remember is people are not buying software. A farm owner who's selling food, they don't want to buy your software. They don't want to buy a farm management software. That's not what they're buying. They're buying a software, or they're buying this application, whatever, okay, that's going to help them achieve X, Y, Z, right? They're not buying the software. They're not buying the commodity, okay? They're buying what this software can do for them, okay? So you've really got to, or, what this software can solve for them, okay? So you've really got to get away from, benefit talking, desire talking. You've got to really, like I said, press on the pain and really speak to their current situation, okay? They've got to read your copy and be like, and read the headline and be like, okay, this really relates with me. Like, I really, these guys really get me. Like, they really get my current situation. Okay. It's really kind of increasing that relatability. Okay. So again, in the subheadline, an idea of what you could say is, here at, for some reason it said Acropolis, which I don't know why it said that. So here at Acropolis, we understand how hard it can be to get your farm food in the hands of your potential customers. Again, I've kind of just reiterated what I've said in the main headline. But again, the idea of both the headline and the subheadline, so these kind of two bits here, is to really just, first of all, get the attention of the end user and then press on the problem, okay? You don't want to, again, a big mistake I see with founders is they either just start selling the software, or they start, especially in the subheadline, they'll just start blabbing on about all of these features and all of these things that that their software has, and just all this stuff that at the end of the day, people don't care about. Okay, as long as they understand that you understand their current situation, okay, and that that they understand that you can solve their problem, nothing else matters. Okay, they don't care that you've got a software and all these benefits. They just want to know, can you solve their problem? Okay, and if you can clearly communicate that, very, very quickly in the headline, okay, there's a very, very good chance they're gonna, continue going down the page and eventually, sign up. Okay, now a few more things that I've mentioned that I've kind of noted down further down the page is, first of all, something that I noticed as I went down is you've kind of started to go on about all the features that you have and tools, and as great as this is, something that I always say is, don't go straight in to talking about all your features and different tools and different things that your software has to offer, because like I said, at the end of the day, as much as people, as much as they are the features that are going to help them, achieve the result, people don't care about the features, right? People don't care about, exactly how it happens. It's just, can you get them to that result? Can you solve that problem? Okay. So when you start mentioning all these features, it just creates confusion and they just get bored, right? So the best thing I always say to founders is, instead of just going directly into talking about your tools and, each individual feature that, the 30-second email builder and the simple, powerful reports, and instead of doing that, okay, directly underneath, this kind of main page fold here, include video testimonials. Okay, then what happens and how how this is kind of structured is they're going to read the headline. Okay, we're getting their attention, we're pressing on the problem. Okay, and once they've then read the headline, once they've then read the the kind of subheadline underneath, they're really they're feeling a little bit agitated. Right, they're really thinking about how this problem is, affecting their current business, how it's affecting their current, food sales. Right, they then scroll down, and oh my god, look at, Jim the farmer, who's also used this software, okay, and has, been able to 10x his, farm food business. Okay, so we're structuring the page in a way where, first of all, they read the headline, okay, they feel this problem, they kind of get a little bit agitated, and then they then scroll down and they've got all these, farmer testimonials where, you've got farmers that are positively speaking about how this software has, positively impacted their business and solved the problem of, selling food. Okay, so something that I always say is you don't want to explain how your software is going to solve their problem by explaining it with the features. You want your own customers to do that. Okay, so what I mean by that is, don't start explaining how your software is so amazing and all the features. Just get your customers in video, testimonials to tell people how it's changed their business, because it's way more powerful. Okay, because at the end of the day, people do not care about features. Okay, people don't, they may care when they start using the software, but when you're trying to sell the software to them, they're not buying a software, they're not buying a commodity, they're buying, how this software can, alleviate this problem. Okay. Now, one other thing as well that I noticed on the page is that you've got quite a lot of different kind of like CTA buttons. So you've got learn more, you've got start your free trial, you've got, if I scroll down the page, I know you've got schedule a demo. Like, I would honestly just keep one main CTA. Okay, whether that's schedule a demo, whether that's start a free trial, because when you have all of these different buttons that people can click, right, it kind of creates confusion, because do I click start a free trial? Do I click schedule a demo? Like, just to make your kind of overall sales process just much more efficient, have one main CTA button. Okay, because like I said, someone gets on this page, they go on the learn more, they start reading all of this, and like I said, you want one main CTA that they can click. Okay, that's just nice and simple. Okay, now one more thing before I kind of end this as well is what I would do directly underneath this kind of main sub headline here is have like a really, really quick, kind of like quick, like 1-2 minute intro video where it's either the owner, if you're watching this video right now that I'm doing, where it's you just kind of speaking on camera, speaking to people, kind of getting just kind of almost getting them, just kind of pressing on what you said in the head, kind of reiterating what you've said in the main headline, and kind of touching on that, and really just reiterating, what you've said, and maybe just explaining it in further detail. Because when people kind of when they land on a page and they can see a face straight away, it builds that. It's that human face-to-face, right? It's that human connection, right? If someone can land on a website and straight away, see someone on a video, waving at them and saying, "Hey, thanks for coming on the site. This is what our software solves. This is what we do." And just a really, really quick, like 30-second, 1-minute video where it's just it's all about that human connection. Okay, it's building that trust, right? Because like I said, a big thing these days when people are clicking on ads and when people are highly skeptical. Okay, so you've got to kind of very, very quickly, show that, in this case, that farm owner, that number one, you can solve their problem. Okay, you understand their current situation. You're not just another software. Okay, you actually understand what they're going through. Okay, and you can build that human connection, and they can see you on camera. You're a real company. Okay, and you're actually getting results from people. Okay. So guys, I hope you've really, really enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys tomorrow in episode number 56. Cheers.